Hi, everyone. It's Rick Lawrence and Fred Oduye here for another conversation about reachable reconciliation. You want to find out more about reachable reconciliation, by the way, all you have to do is look down below this video. There's plenty of ways to connect with Fred, learn more about his 5R process of bringing reconciling environments into your organization, your church, or even just your own life. Over the weekend on Easter, I was back in person at my church the first time in a long time, and I heard the pastor say that this day, this Easter day, marks the return to normal. And everybody in the congregation clapped, and I sat there thinking, is it really a return to normal? Is there a normal to return to? I thought inside, Fred, we're returning to the not normal because we're never going back to the normal. And you and I've talked a little bit about how that may be a good thing, that even now, like what's happening in the biblical story now is the walk to Emmaus, this day after Easter or the days after Easter, Jesus walking with two of his disciples, and they're confused and disoriented and all this. And that's where we are too. Yeah. They were in the not normal and we're in the not normal. So what are some thoughts you have about living in the not normal, finding Jesus there in the not normal, Fred?
Yeah, that's kind of huge, Rick. There's so many different ways to go into that. I'm kind of reminded of, when I think about it, I think about during that period when Jesus says, go tell the disciples and Peter, right? And so in my brain, I'm like, and we've all heard that, like, and Peter, okay. But then today I was thinking, he didn't say, and Judas or and, somebody else. He just said, and Peter. And what does that mean to say, and Peter? Like, what is the difference between betrayal and denial, right? What's the difference between violation, right, and not keeping a moral standard versus denial, which maybe is just some untruths about information or thoughts or spiritual insights that maybe we missed the mark on?
Or even ignorance. Just
ignorance. Absolutely, ignorance. And so as we think about this walk now afterwards, in the resurrection, in the present day, it's kind of, what are those historical patterns of thinking or traditional lines of thinking that maybe we need to readjust or recalibrate? I mean, I think there's space for some conversations on things, and then maybe there's not space for other conversations, but you got to get it right, or you got to get as close as you can, right? And so, as so many people have shared, he has risen, and now you've got to start the walk afterwards. I mean, you see it all over social media. You didn't see it all year, but all of a sudden, resurrection weekend, and everybody's, he's risen, and all these people are coming out. And so what does it mean for Jesus to show up now in the spaces that you're in, and what does his showing up actually mean? Because maybe there are people groups that you may have some preconceived thoughts or perspectives or mindsets, or maybe just have even neglected, that we may need to recalibrate and say, but Jesus is there. Jesus is with them. Jesus is in them. Just because they may be wrestling with an identity issue doesn't mean that Jesus isn't there showing up. Or just because from a political standpoint, I mean, because we're so rigid with our biblical principles, right? But now, Rick, the game has changed. Like, it was easy, before. Oh, you go to church service, you go to Bible study, you go to worship, you go to pray, and that's where Jesus shows up. But it's changed now, right? And it hasn't changed. The atmosphere hasn't changed without God knowing about it. Like, it's not like he's like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. And so, yeah, everybody's not at church right now. Some people are virtual and trying to watch their health standards. And that's okay. That's still in the gospel, you know. Yeah, sure. There's a lot of emotion around people who have different principles in terms of even political stand. I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. But does that now alienate or isolate somebody from now being in relationship as it relates to the gospel, or do they not have Jesus showing up in their lives? Well, I don't know, you know. So I think I could go on, but as we think about some of the patterns and some of what we, as you stated, was normal in days past, we're in a different type of normal. We're in a direction we haven't been this way before, as the Bible would say.
And just to wrap this up too, I love this idea of thinking about the reaction as different from betrayal and denial, and to maybe encompass a lot of the reconciling, leaning in we need to do now, recognizing that we're in denial, or maybe others are in denial, and that to follow Jesus means to follow him into those conversations, because he specifically said, I'm going to keep my conversation with you going, Peter, even though you're in denial about who I am. That is what it means to follow Jesus into these spaces now, is to recognize that some of these relationships in need of reconciliation are just in denial. And that's our invitation to go after those. They're not cut off completely by betrayal. There's an open door there. So I love that, Fred. So the question then is, where can I follow Jesus today into relationships that have been marked by denial? Where can I follow him, and what can I learn from him as I do?
Absolutely.
To grab even more of Fred's perspective on this, head on over to his site. You can just click down below this video and you'll go right to Fred's Reachable Reconciliation site for more. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you.